Sean. Hello, everybody. And Rachel is here as well. Guys, if welcome to the show. This is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. This is not a featured show yet. However, we are on the verge of becoming featured. That being said, this is a show. This is not a regular live stream. So thank you all for the gifts. I appreciate it. Um, Bentley or Tarot Master, thank you so much. Tarot Master has joined us, guys. He's our guest for tonight. I am so excited for Echo Next. Echo Next. Sorry, that wasn't the vibe. Guys, I'm so excited. This is our first show ever being Better Together. If you are familiar with us, we used to be In It Together with Gabby and Sammy. Sammy's retired from streaming, so we do have a new co-host. Her name is Rachel. She's a nationally certified counselor, and she will be joining us shortly. So I like to start off every show with kind of just catching up and seeing how everybody's feeling. So I want to see you guys put the emojis in the chat. How are you feeling today? I'm going to check in with you all now and see how you're doing. And at the end of the show, we're going to check in again. So put the emojis in the chat that reflect how you're feeling this evening. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Put the emoji in the chat that reflects your emotions tonight, guys. The show is about emotional exploration, self-development, and healthier living. So it's really important to make sure that we acknowledge our emotions and how we're feeling. So thank you guys for participating. I love it. I love to see it. So now the next thing I want to talk about is something good, guys. In It Together ended 1 year and 1 month ago. It's been 1 year and 1 month since the show has been on the app. So I want to know something good that's happened in the last year. I think that's going to be pretty easy to come up with, guys. I already know a lot of you guys have had some great things happen in the past year. Rather, it's been a trip, visiting somebody, meeting somebody for the first time. Plenty of us can say that that's happened. Playlist just happened. So if you've been to playlist, that's a good thing that happened. Lexi said nothing. Come on, girl. I put my emotions in the box and don't think about it. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, that is why we're here. Ash lost weight. So that's a good thing that happened. The app happened. The app is a great thing. It's a great resource to um, educate you guys on emotional wellness, healthier living, and self-development. That's our goal on the show. So, meeting amazing people. Awesome, Sean. I know I met Sean in person over the summer, so that was pretty cool. I met Cheyenne, I met Paulo, I met some others. Yeah, pretty cool. Vacation times two. Miranda was on vacation with me for my birthday. We went to North Carolina, so that's something good that happened. Or South North Carolina, yeah, North Carolina. So that was pretty cool. Thank you guys for letting me know how you're doing. I love to see it. I will ask you every week to tell me something good from now on. So make sure you guys, you know, count the good things and remember them so that you can tell us on the show next time. All right, guys, so just to run down what to expect on the show. If you're just joining, this is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. You haven't missed too much yet. I'm just going to give you a rundown of the show. So Rachel's going to join us in the box. She's going to give us a tip of the week and a quote of the week. We're going to introduce our topic for this week, which is tarot and its impact on our healthy living, mindset, and goal achievability. We're going to kind of have a little discussion in the chat about experiences with getting your cards read. And then we're going to go into some information that you guys should take some notes on because we're going to have a pop quiz at the end. Not really a pop quiz if you're expecting it, but pay attention to the information we give you because we're going to learn a lot about tarot tonight. And then after our pop quiz, our featured guest, Tarot Master, will join us in the box and he will definitely give us a lot of great information and his own experiences with tarot and his wellness as well. So thank you guys for being here. Rachel, if you'd like to join us in the box, I will get you in here. Guys, make sure that you favorite Rachel. Her and I actually have known each other since like the 4th or the 5th grade. So we're really good friends. And she's awesome. She's going to start streaming on here every once in a while. So if you guys want to catch her, definitely favorite her. Rachel, I do not see you in the box yet. Maybe I can. Oh, there you are. Alrighty. Hello.
Oh, sorry about that, Gabby. I'm having a little difficulty getting used to Meet Me and my camera, obviously.
That is okay. That is okay. Well, guys, this is Rachel. She's an amazing human being, so please hit her with a favorite. Please do that now. And now, Rachel, it's time for your little segment of the show, tip of the week and quote of the week. So let's hear it.
Yeah, so nice to see everyone. Thanks for joining us. So I guess for this portion, I'm trying to start out with the quote, and then I'm trying to figure out a tip to go with it. So as you know, an emotional wellness counselor, I give people tips often. So for this week, our first quote is: "You cannot control your circumstances, but you can control your character. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control the choices you make. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the process." And that comes to us from Erwin Raphael McManus from a book called The Way of the Warrior. So, kind of my own little spin on that, and a tip that I have to go with that is that life does throw us curveballs. But on the worst of days, we have more control over, our mindset about what's going on than we may think. So, a really cool and easy way to recognize all that we are able to do and all the control we have over, some of those good things that happen to us, some of the little things, is to write down 3 good things that happened in your day. So it may not be initially apparent that you had a lot of choices to make to get to those things. So a really cool example I can give is, let's say you made the choice one day and you chose, one of your good things was, oh, I made myself, chicken noodle soup, homemade chicken noodle soup. No one was pulling your leg to do that. You probably had other food that you could have had, more quickly or more easily, but you noticed that you had a craving and you made the choices to fulfill that craving and make yourself feel good. So no one else really had any control over that good thing happening, which is kind of neat. It can give you the opportunity to view things in a more positive light and just help you feel maybe more at peace or more in control. So to sum that all up, my tip is, when you're feeling down, write down 3 good things that happened in your day and see if you can see what all you did to control and make choices to get to those good things.
Awesome, awesome, awesome quote, awesome tip. So, guys, um, writing down 3 good things that happened to you in a given day can help you to identify the great things that are happening in your life. There's obviously life can not be the greatest. Let's be real here. But acknowledging those good things can, and especially like expressing gratitude, can definitely make a difference in your happiness. So, awesome quotes, awesome tip. I love it. So, guys, if you're just joining, this is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. This is a show where we talk about self development, emotional exploration, and healthier living. Today, we are going to introduce our topic of tarot and its impact on healthy living, goal achievability, and mindset. So, I would like you guys to start off the show to put a 1 in the chat if you've had your cards read, and put a 2 in the chat if you've never had your cards read. Let me see who's had experiences of tarot reading. Wow, a lot of you haven't had your cards read. Well, you might have the opportunity tonight. You might have the opportunity tonight if you express interest in getting your cards read. FYI, little spoiler alert for you. So cool. Most people haven't had their cards read. Too many know. So you guys need to get your cards read because I think it's a pretty cool experience. So now that we kind of know that a lot of us don't know a whole lot about tarot, it's time to teach you guys um, at least some of the basic knowledge that we know about tarot, where it originates, the meaning and the use of it, and how it relates to emotional wellness. So, Rachel, why don't you start us off talking about the origins of tarot?
Yeah, so I want to preface that this was all a lot of really cool information that I got to learn. And I do go about this from a little bit of a view of a skeptic. But what I learned about tarot was the origins are somewhat unknown. So they actually emerged initially around 15th century Italy, as card games. So nothing related to, the mystical, magical powers that we hear about tarot now. But the connection to the occult leaders and that sort of stuff started to emerge around the 18th, 19th century. But from what I could find, it's kind of difficult to really nail down the starts of the tarot of how we know it today. Um, and they can be found today in a whole bunch of different cultures and different, mystical belief systems. Where can you think of seeing the tarot before, Gabby?
Like, where have I seen tarot before? Or
Yeah,
where do I
like
think?
just out of curiosity, because it seems like a lot of our viewers don't know a whole lot about it. So, are there any situations, settings, movies maybe that you've like heard of it or experienced it?
Sure. So my first experience with tarot was actually when I was in college. The art department held a Halloween party that they hosted, and there was a tarot reader there. And she was just like a gypsy. It was really cute and it was super spooky. So I always affiliated tarot with Halloween and like witchy stuff, which is kind of why I picked this topic during spooky season because I feel like it kind of relates a little bit to spooky season. So yeah, that's my experience. My initial experience with tarot was a Halloween party.
Yeah, that sounds about right for what I had heard about it prior to now, which I think is part of why I'm such a skeptic about it. But I do think it's a really cool topic. Um,
Sure. So tarot is basically at its core, it's a deck of picture cards, right? And those pictures have meanings behind them. There's a lot of symbolism in the pictures, but what are the pictures on the cards for? What do they mean? How are they used?
so I was really interested in learning this myself. I again had these like mystical, like kind of Halloween-esque spooky vibes about what the tarot was. But overall, it has been used and is used today, to kind of find and explore the unconscious mind or find and explore our futures and meanings. So, again, coming at this from the perspective of someone who's a little skeptical and someone who has some knowledge of emotional wellness, um, I kind of relate the tarot to a really famous psychologist, Sigmund Freud, who coined, dream interpretation and psychoanalysis, which is related to kind of joining our unconscious mind with our conscious mind and giving us insight into, what's going on below the surface. So there's this idea of the iceberg where, so looking at this awesome picture, the tip of the iceberg, that lighter part that you can see, is your conscious mind. So your working memory, your thoughts, your feelings in the moment. And that's pretty apparent, right? Like you can kind of guess at what you're thinking, but that subconscious, that unconscious mind, Sigmund Freud, the psychologist, said, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on in our brains that we're not aware of. Those are our belief systems, our values, things like that, that impact how we think and how we view the world. Um, so the unconscious mind is huge and it has way greater impact, supposedly, on how we interact with our world and make meaning than our conscious mind, which is, the smaller part of that iceberg example.
Right, and everyone's unconscious and conscious mind is different. It depends on the belief systems that you have, the experiences you've had in life, the beliefs you have about people around you. And the same goes for the card reader as well. The card reader has to be pretty intuitive to get a reading that's going to correlate with your life. So if the card reader knows you, they would be more in tune to knowing what the cards are going to say to align with your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, looking at my skepticism here, I think that tarot readers that are so intuitive and so knowledgeable of the person in front of them they're doing a reading for really hold the power in that situation where, they're the ones that are so intuitive, so in tune with the person they're doing a reading for that they can use their perspective to make sense of the other person's perspective and, make an interpretation of that card that is makes meaning of something for the person in front of them and it's not just like random gibberish.
Right. And on top of being intuitive and like actually like knowing the person's going to help the reader obviously would make more accurate of a reading, right? Um, I think it has to do a lot with energy. I could be wrong. Maybe Tarot Master could correct us, but I think it has to do a lot to do with energy and like feeling the energy of another person. I've heard that term used in tarot before.
For sure. And I think energy, can kind of be related to the unconscious mind in a sense, because our energies, our vibes that we give out, a lot of that has to do with who we are as people at our core. Again, those belief systems, those values, and how you view yourself and how you view others. So it makes sense that, someone who's a good tarot reader, who tends to read into people in a way that aligns with them and they really find meaning in that reading, is someone who, has really good perspective into their value system and that other person's, which is, kind of like a lining up of energy, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. So one thing, Rachel and I talked before the show, and she said something that was pretty cool. So I quoted it. Your perspective influences the power of the tarot. So if you believe in it, it's going to influence you more than if you don't believe in it. If you don't believe in it, the influence will likely not be there. So being skeptical, like Rachel is, maybe it won't give her exactly what the big picture is, right? Maybe her cards won't, she'll be skeptical of it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So if you believe in it, it's going to influence you more.
And that's not to say that I don't believe in some of the accuracy of it, right? But I definitely view it more as the scientific aspect of human perspective and our natural tendency as humans to find patterns and make stories. Humans love to make stories. Think about every movie you've ever seen and every book you've ever read and every, anecdote that you've shared with somebody. We love to tell stories. We love to listen to stories. It's, one of those things that makes us human. So to assume that someone's going to look at these really neat cards that have similar experiences or touch on similar human emotions, to assume that someone's going to look at that and have the same interpretation as the person next to them, and the person next to them, is kind of ridiculous. But then also to assume that a tarot reader would be able to, make the right assumptions about each person in front of them without any sort of skill or knowledge is also kind of ridiculous. So I definitely think it's an art form in a way, but I think overall it's more a matter of we like to make patterns, and it's that power of manifestation where if we will it, we'll believe in it and it'll be good. Or that power of like self-sabotage, where if we don't believe in it or we really put ourselves down, then we're definitely not going to achieve it. So I kind of draw a really cool comparison when I was reading about the tarot, to the something called the Rorschach ink blot test. Has anyone in our audience heard of that before? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I kind of gave it away, but
Yeah, so Gabby shared a really cool picture with us. So take a moment and see if you can see any images in this picture. What do you see there?
yeah, put it in the chat what you see. Um, when I saw this at first, I thought it reminded me of a bat. That's a bat for sure. See, Miranda and I think alike, so of course she thought that was a bat. A
The spooky background too. It's
lot of
perfect.
people think it's a bat. A wolf, really? Actually, I can see that.
I see a couple angels, to be honest.
Really? I see. Okay, if I were to like look at this, how it's like kind of split in the middle, it's almost like there's two people like waving hello or goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah. So that's an ink blot test example for you guys. Um, now it can give a good picture of the unconscious mind, right? That was like the point of it. They don't use these anymore. This isn't used, so don't think that this is something like relevant really, but it is relevant to tarot because the cards are a picture as well that are that's able to kind of unlock the unconscious mind, right? And paint a story that's relative to your life. So, um, we're not going to go over it right away. But this is the tarot card I picked. It's really hard to see. I have a picture on my PowerPoint that I'll be able to show you, and I'll also describe it. But We pulled the Six of Cups. We don't know what it means. Please don't tell us in the chat if you know. We're going to find out through Tarot Master what the Six of Cups means, and we're going to give our interpretation of it as well. So, um, so Rachel, you've been saying that you're a skeptic, right?
Mhm.
Why are you so skeptical? I think a lot of it has to do with science, but give us a little bit more insight as to why you're so skeptical.
I wholeheartedly don't believe the tarot tell the future. I wholeheartedly don't believe it, because I think that our future is unknown. From a scientific perspective and knowing what I know about psychology as a national certified counselor, I know that humans have a natural tendency to find patterns. I know the power of positive thinking and the power of negative thinking, meaning there are actually studies out there, cool enough, that have proven that an athlete that uses positive thought may have better training and better athletic performance than an athlete that is just, physically training just as hard. So I think the same can be said for negative thinking, that if you are in a negative spot and you get a negative reading, it's just going to reinforce those thoughts. So I think, if you go into a tarot reading and you are expecting it to make sense, expecting to have patterns that, line up with your life, then that's exactly what you're going to get. And then you're going to find those patterns naturally in your life that line up with that reading. Whereas if you hadn't had that reading, you may not have noticed those patterns and it may have been senseless to you. Same thing with, the negative side of things, that if you get a negative reading, you're going to start focusing on those negative aspects and you're going to find those patterns naturally and make those stories out as you want. But on the flip side, my slight little bit of belief and my impressedness, I guess, with tarot readers that read accurately is that depending on what information they're given, they are again able to meet that person's perspective and see what's going on in their brain a little bit and maybe in their life and in their unconscious mind, and make a prediction that lines up with their life and gives them maybe hope for the future or caution for the future. Regardless of my skepticism, I really think tarot is a positive thing because it can help make meaning of chaos for folks. And again, maybe it's going to tell them something that they wouldn't have known about their unconscious. So just like this ink blot test, where we all had a little bit of difference in what we saw, maybe some similarities, we've probably all had similar experiences or different experiences, but we've all experienced them differently. So we're going to make meaning of that ink blot test or that tarot reading or that tarot card differently than the next person who's gone through different life experiences themselves. So
Okay.
that's a really long-winded saying of I love tarot readings and I think they're really beneficial for our wellness and emotional wellness and how we make sense of the world, but I don't believe they tell the future.
Okay, on the flip side, I actually think that tarot can be legit. I every reading I've had has come true. Maybe I'm falling into that pot of, you're kind of seeing the pattern, so that's what you're going to believe, right?
It's not a
Well,
bad thing.
I'm going to give you my example of my reading I had. One reading in particular, okay? It was this time last year. I I'm recovering from knee surgery. I'm starting a new old job with restrictions, and I'm in a new relationship at the time last year, around this time. And I had a reading. You guys probably know her. Her name is Alien Eve. She was a top badge on this app, and she had her own show about tarot reading as well. But she gave me a private reading as a friend, and I told her I needed some guidance. And her reading essentially said to me, you're going to get the job, but it's going to put a toll on your body. And that relationship's not going to work out. It's going to end and it's not going to be a good ending. And so I didn't want to totally believe it. I now, again, Alien Eve knew me. So of course she was able to say, oh, well, maybe it's going to impact your health. Like maybe it was just, like, you know what I mean? Of course she knows that my health is something, like, you guys know, I've had a knee surgery and I have a heart condition. So I have a little bit going on medically, that like it did actually take a toll on me, that job. It took a really big toll on me, actually. She told me to focus on self-care a lot, and so I was focusing on self-care, and I ended up leaving that job because I couldn't handle it on my body. And that relationship ended. And I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't want to believe it. And it ended. So so that was my that's an example of a tarot reading I received. It was very accurate. And I think, maybe every tarot reading doesn't come true, but this is what I do. When I get a tarot reading, every time I get a reading, I take notes on the reading every time. And I look over those notes and I kind of see how I can relate that to my life and my goals. And then I use it as a tool, even if it might not necessarily be like this is going to come true. I use it as a tool to kind of like help guide me in life. So that is my experience with tarot. Um, so tarot is a form of divination, and you guys may or may not know what divination means. So divination is um, looking, seeking knowledge of the future through supernatural means is what divination is. Um, so why don't we practice this? Why don't we practice this card reading from this card that I pulled? Um, so this is a Six of Cups. Can you guys see that or no? Do you need me to zoom in? Is this like, can you see this well enough or no? I have a feeling that you probably can't see it very well. Well, I have it here. Can you see it better this way? Can you see what that is? So I'm going to paint the picture for you, okay? So essentially what this tarot card is, it's the Six of Cups. There is a girl pouring tea for her and her little stuffed animal friends. They're on like a plot of land above a river. The river is filled with an abundance of fish, like lots and lots of fish. She's also surrounded by some mushroom people who are illuminating her vision, as well as the trees are also illuminating her vision. And there's a gold cup at the bottom of the tarot card, which you can't see here because I zoomed in. But if you could see it, there's a little at the bottom left-hand corner, there's a gold cup. And then there's another little cup also on like the little rock there under the bear. So that is the Six of Cups. Rachel, why don't you start giving us your interpretation of this card?
Um, so I'm having a tough time seeing it, to be honest. Still, like, not that
Are
I
you?
can't see it, but for me, a lot of the interpretation comes from the details, and what you notice about it, type thing. Like, what do your eyes jump to first versus what has to be told to you? But initially, I see the little girl, and I know it's kind of far away, and I recognize it's not angel wings, but with the lighting behind it and how it was placed, she seems very angelic to me. So almost, I guess I get a sense of hope from this in general, and just having that positivity overall of, being surrounded by friends, be them make believe or not. Um, just gives me a really positive feeling with this card in general. Just hope.
Awesome. Okay, so my interpretation of this card, I think it has a lot to do with gratitude and abundance. I think that the fish represent abundance of like good things in your life. You're surrounded by loved ones. There's a light illuminating in the picture, so I think that's like very positive. Um, and I think it definitely has a lot to do with gratitude, like being thankful for the things that you have and acknowledging that you currently do have an abundance of things. So that's my interpretation of this card.
I like that abundance. It's a cool interpretation to get from that.
It is cool. So yeah, I pulled the card last night and I was like, I don't want to look at it and really think about it, but I was like, too late, you know. um, all right. So moving on with the rest of the meaning and use of the cards.
Yeah. So, um, I personally feel like a lot of the magic of tarot comes from assumption and that human urge to find the patterns and meanings in chaos. But overall, you could look at the act as random. All of it's random. The card is random. The tarot reader is random. The event is random overall. But there is a lot of meaning and purpose behind it. In general, you chose to go to that reading at that time on that day. and you chose to, interpret it a certain way. And then from that tarot reading, you chose to act a certain way in your life because of it. So I think related to emotional wellness, it is hugely impactful, or I'm sorry, spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness refers to, how we make meaning of our existence in life and how we find purpose. And, Gabby, your example of how that tarot reading, I wonder if things would have gone that way if you hadn't had that reading, or I wonder if maybe you had your thoughts about that relationship and that just kind of solidified it for you. Um,
Mm.
yeah, just a guess here. I don't know, but that's
But
where, that unconscious mind comes into play, that who knows what you were
sure.
thinking, going into that. But with spiritual wellness, tarot can serve a great help, regardless of if you're a skeptic or you believe in this, however your stance is, it can help in spiritual wellness in the sense that it can help you find purpose. If you're unsure of where your life is going and that tarot helps you figure out a way, then you're fulfilling your spiritual wellness. You are finding a purpose. You're finding a meaning in life, and it's making life worthwhile. So I think that's a really important part to note, that it does help in spiritual wellness regardless of your stance. Tarot can be a really positive tool for that.
Excellent. So in conclusion, tarot is it serves a purpose by using, the word divination again, seeing into the future with magical and things like, I'm forgetting what word I used earlier.
Mystical.
Mystical means. So basically, it's going to help you unlock the unconscious mind, which is going to unlock some thoughts, values, and desires that you have. And if you've been paying attention so far, guys, it's time for a pop quiz. We have 4 questions for you. So here's the first one. What psychology experiment in history bears similarity to interpretation of tarot? A, the Stanford Prison Experiment, B, Milgram Experiment, C, MMPI exam, or D, oh gosh, Rorschach ink blot tests.
Good job.
There, we got it. And by the way, if you're just joining, this is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. We are talking about tarot today and its impact on mindset, emotional wellness, and goal achievability. And it looks like only 2 people know the answer to the pop quiz so far. Miranda and Beatbox got it. D, the ink block test, guys. We literally just showed you an ink blot test a moment ago. How'd you forget already? Then you remember we saw the bat? All
Maybe
right,
they've been thinking too much about their unconscious.
maybe.
Their
All right,
conscious is not as aware.
Rachel, you got it from here. This is the
All
second
right.
one.
So, second question. This is going to be a multiple choice. What famous psychologist coined dream interpretation and psychoanalysis? Let's go with A, Sigmund Freud, B, Carl Rogers,
Oh, if you have it,
C,
it's on the screen. It's on the
oh,
screen. Look at
yeah,
the screen.
A, Carl Rogers, B, Sigmund Freud, C, Albert Adler, or D, George Bush? Yeah, that psychologist, George Bush. Good one.
Sean got it first. So good job, Sean. All right. Time for our second or third question. It's a true or false one, guys. So true or false? The same tarot card is going to have the same meaning for every person. False. Yeah, the same tarot card is not going to have the same meaning for every person because we all have different lives that we've lived, different experiences, different belief systems, different values. So yeah, every card is going to be different for every person.
Nice job. All right. True or false for our last question? Tarot decks were created originally for the purpose of divination. And just a reminder, divination is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or unknown by supernatural means. So true or false, they were made for divination as their original purpose. I think we got some folks with this one, Gabby.
Yeah, we did. Well, guys, the answer is false.
False. Tarot
It
cards
actually,
were around long before they were made for divination. They were just a card game, like sitting around, hanging out, playing cards. Yeah.
yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. All right, guys. Rachel, I have to unfortunately, in a moment, kick you from the box because I'm on OBS and I can only have one person in the box at the same time. But it is time for our featured guest to join us. Tarot Master is going to join us for an interview and possibly a little card reading example that if anybody here is willing to participate in it, then you would join the box. Oh, you can't join the box. Oh, man. Oh, no. I forgot. Oh, that kind of puts a damper in my plan, doesn't it? Well, and that's just gonna, unless he can do it, maybe he can sense the energy through the comments. I don't know. We'll have to ask him what he thinks. All right, Rachel. We'll see you soon. I'll have you exit the box, and Tarot Master, we're ready for you. You can join us in the box anytime you're ready.
Thanks for having me. I'll see y'all soon. Looking forward to it, Tarot Master.
Oh, hmm. Oh, that was a glitch. Hello, Tarot Master.
How are you keeping?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream, a beautiful nightmare at a time.
I know it's pretty. What time is it for you? It's pretty early in the
It's
morning,
half
right?
past two in the morning.
Woohoo! Goodness. Well, thank you for taking the time to be on our show. We're so excited to have you, especially because this is like the first show that we're officially doing for Better Together. So it's awesome to have you on. For those of you guys who don't know Tarot Master, please introduce yourself and give us a little plug of your show and the things that you have going on.
Firstly, thank you for having me over here. It's much appreciated. So, on the app, I'm known as a tarot master or a tarot reader Roger. And I have a featured show every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. in the UK, and 9 or 10 p.m. Queensland time in Australia. The show is structured as follow. The first 20 minutes, it's an introduction and education for the cards in general, speaking about tarot cards, oracle cards, angel cards, the Norman, or any topic we pick on it. Following that, it's selecting 2 or 3 guests, proactive contents, as you might be aware, and reading for them. And most people that I read for is, I love my skeptics, to be honest, so people that haven't read for them before, and I read for them on the show. They have a slot of 20 minutes also, and we take it further from there. The topic ranges from prediction, love and relationships, business reading, health reading if needed, and also as well messages on the divine system. So what's the spiritual side, spiritual line have to say to you? As an example, another one is from the Tree of Life or the Daily Guidance card. And recently started to make it more entertaining based on the demand that I have. If somebody is a cheater or a keeper, are they, for instance, another one is, are you a diamond on his crown or a notch on the belt? And a third one, are there a lady on the street or a freak between the sheet? That's for fun, basically, as I do. Also, as well, I do stream on regular basis, usually around 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern time. And in the afternoon, it's around 4:30 in the afternoon for a few hours also as well, I read. So that's as a high level.
Excellent, excellent. So, guys, make sure you favorite Tarot Masters. You can catch his show on Mondays. It's 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
perfect. All right, Tarot Master, I'm going to start hitting you with some questions. So,
go ahead.
how long have you been practicing tarot?
I'll answer the question from a different perspective.
How
You
long
may
have you
have
been?
came, no, no,
How long
no, no, it's
have you
fine. I'll
been?
answer it.
Okay.
I'll answer it from a different way. Unlike many readers that you may have came across, 3 generations of card readers. And when I grew up at a younger age, I thought that everybody could see the Then I followed suit. Then I took a break from it in my teenagehood. Then I returned back to it around 10 years ago or so when I had a major event in my life happening. But bear in mind, the emphasis over here is on the word cards and not just tarot. Because as you would appreciate, in cards, you have many disciplines, as I mentioned. Tarot is well known. My go-to deck is Lenormand. So if I want to do a comparison between them, tarot is soft. Its definition, as you have mentioned, spiritual, more or less. Lenormand, on the other hand, is practical. It's the what, the who, the when, the why. And Lenormand is based on coffee beans, which means rather than drinking coffee and reading it from a cup, it's printed on paper, on cardboard, and you do the reading between them. Another difference between the two cards or the two decks, one is 78 cards, the other one is 36 cards.
Wow, okay. Very cool. So you were pretty much destined to be a tarot master then. So that's really amazing. That is cool. Man, that's like really cool. So I'm gonna ask you a question. We pulled a card earlier that we described
Yep.
our interpretation of it. It's the Six of Cups. I don't know if you guys can
Mhm.
again see this card, but we'd all like to know what the Six of Cups means for us.
So I'm going to show it to you from the original deck because yours is a variation. So if you look into this one is more clear. And as you can see, there is a picture of two children and six cups of it. The high level meaning of that is a nostalgia over there. However, looking into the card from a daily guidance card perspective, the meaning of the card, the Six of Cups draws you into the waves of nostalgia, a time when you are focusing on the past. You may be looking back at a loss regarding a family member, friendship, lover, or soulmate. Or perhaps you are remembering all the happy times you spend with the loved ones and realizing how blessed you are to be in the company of these people. Now, that's the general description of the card. As you might be aware, depending on the position of the card, it can be upright, which is the positive meaning, downright, which is the negative meaning. On a negative meaning perspective, you shouldn't be focusing on past failures and losses because you will get knotted up again. Don't lose sight of the here and now by letting your mind keep you looking back at what might have been. If you dwell on the what ifs, you are allowing the past to hold your future captive. Now, the
Wow.
positive meaning of the card, you need to live in the present. It's time to look at the future and what could be. Use nostalgia as your own tool to keep track of all relationships that brought you special meaning to your life. It might be the right time to take a trip down memory lane and reconnect with family, friends from high school or college, or old neighbors and plan a trip to visit the old neighborhood. That's the positive meaning of the card.
That is really cool. And I think this actually kind of almost relates to like Rachel and I. We actually reconnect. I mean, we've always like been connected, but like we don't not like on a regular basis. But we reconnected
Mhm.
recently and decided to do the show together. And she's like a old childhood friend. So it was kind of like just really cool that after all, I think we haven't seen each other in person in 2 years, that she decided to do the show with me. So that kind of correlates, at least in my experience, to the card. So pretty cool. If you guys are just
Nice.
joining, this is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. We are talking with Tarot Master today about tarot and its impact on mindset, goal achievability, and emotional wellness. Um, so I'm going to just go along here and ask you, what role does tarot play in the quality of life and emotional wellness for you or for the people you read for?
Personally, for me, it's a confirmation of what I already know. But also, as well, when I read for people the way I read, unlike any other readers that you may come across or you will come across, I do not want to know your question. I do not want to know what's happening in your life. I let the cards tell the story. And the cards are read in multiple different ways that it will relate to the recipient of the reading. So, personally, my life is too dynamic. and it keeps on changing per the hour. So when I want to do a card reading, either on a daily guidance card, it's an affirmation card to say that's my state of mind, this is what's going to happen. But again, I make a decision in the morning. Am I going to be happy or unhappy? And how I'm going to be proceeding with my day. For those who come and ask for a reading, either on a daily guidance perspective, well-being perspective, or the chakra reading, for instance, or a forecast on what's going to happen, it's a confirmation of where they're going. And for those who are coming in for the first time, it's providing them with information based on what they already know, and it's based on their current path at the time of the reading. We do have choices and we do have free will. If you change direction, whatever is right for you is not going to take place. It's as simple as this. Now, if you're not in the right frame of mind, you shouldn't be having a reading. You should be focusing on yourself, and that's not a replacement for psychologists, professionals, or any other kind of help that you have. Now, in modern time that you have these days, which is the new age, they do refer to tarot cards, mainly an oracle, because oracle gives them hope. So that's what they focus on more when they look into a card to say, I'm hopeful to have that. Or if it comes into an angel card, which was recently introduced to the family back in the late 1990s, it's all about positivity. But again, it depends on the aspect that you want to have. Personally, I keep it real. I do not sugarcoat it. I say it the way it is. Does it affect me on how I'm going to behave during my day? Well, if you manifest it, it can affect it. If you don't manifest it, it won't. And I'm a great believer what is meant to be yours will be yours. You cannot cheat fate. If you want to cheat fate, you can cheat it. You can cheat it. However, you're going to end up learning another hard lesson. So the cards will prepare you on what's going to happen to you for a day perspective or a weekly forecast or the next 6 to 8 weeks. And it's your choice how you want to handle it. If you know what's coming in your way, then you'll be ready for it. A simple example for that, if you want to go and buy stock, if you look into the Tesla shares or the Microsoft shares or any blue chip shares, usually look into the history for the past 6 months, 12 months, or the past 5 years. You can do a forecast what's going to happen specifically when it comes into a specific quarter. However, you have the corporate governance achieved over there also as well, and other events that you don't have control over from a global perspective. It might take a different direction, and hence when you can buy or sell a stock. Same applies to cards.
Wow. I never thought about using it for stocks. I never thought about that.
That's an example that the people can relate to it because one thing that was mentioned by Rachel earlier, she believes in science and the definition that you have of science. Behind the cards, there isn't any science. Cards is a different discipline. It's unlike horoscope. Horoscope have a science behind it, either the astrology from the West or the Chinese one. And there is no scientific explanation on how the cards work. No one knows. You just you have them as a story, and you take it further from there. It's not like, oh, I'm doing a formula and I'm using it. There is no formula for that. And no two readers will read the same. You will see the card, you will do the interpretation from your own perspective on how you see it. Same applies to me, same applies to any other person. And how does it resonate with you is up to you. And there isn't any one reader that can read the cards for the entire population of the earth. If you don't have the good vibe from the reader, if you're not comfortable with them, even if they are well known, then that reader is not the one for you. It's as simple as this.
Very cool. Very cool. So a lot of it has to do with your mindset and going into it, having a good mindset and using it as a guide for your life. Am I catching what you're throwing?
That's pretty much it. But again, it's not just like the mindset. I have people coming in to say, I'm in a dark place. Read my card, read my card, read my cards. And what I say to people is if you're in a dark place and you believe in a dark place, and the cards that we have pulled are negative, and I don't sugarcoat, so why are you asking for trouble?
Yeah. I don't know if you were here when I mentioned the reading I had where like she's like, "Oh,
I
you're
did.
gonna get the job, but you're gonna end up getting unhealthy. Then you're gonna have a broken relationship." And it all happened. And I was not in the not in the best mindset, I will be honest, when I got the reading done. However, I think those things were gonna happen regardless. So I believe the cards.
As I said, you cannot change fate. So I'll go back to a basic definition of tarot card reading, which is what I use to everyone I read for. Tarot cards do not tell the future. Rather, tarot is a tool for spiritual guidance and enables the person receiving the reading to connect to his or her inner wisdom. Tarot reading helps a person understand what he or she needs to know about a particular situation. Decks are best used as a tool of inner wisdom and guidance, as reading gives a person insights to past, current, and future events based on the person's current path at the time of the reading. The cards do not necessarily reveal what will happen, but instead allow a person to gain an understanding of a situation and determine the best course of action based on what is known and what the cards show.
And that kind of plays into my next question a little bit, using it as like a guide to like
Mhm.
what's going on in your life. How do you think that tarot plays a role in like achieving goals?
Well, it depends basically on what goal you have in mind. You can either manifest it, it can remove the smoke from your eyes to say this is what's going to happen, and it can show you basically on the path that you're currently following. Again, you're looking into prediction, which is the stock market, what's going to happen with the market, or if you want to look into energy prices, or if you want to look into the global events happening. So if you want to achieve your goals, you are the master of that. The cards are not the major in your life. You write your own story. The cards are the minors. They are a tool. They help you which direction you're going to give you a confirmation for that. But then again, you don't need the cards. Cards are just cards. And it depends on the purpose that you want to have or what is it that you would like to know. But when you look into the cards, they're read into multiple different ways, as I mentioned, because we can see the points A to B. But however, to go from A to B, you might have to go through C, you might have to go through D, you might have to go through E. You have many events happening and multiple moving parts. And as I mentioned, life is dynamic, is not static. Does it help you where you're going? Yeah, it's like silly questions, which is I have on card reading and people coming into me to say, am I going to pass my exam? Well, have you studied? No. Then how do you expect to pass?
Right,
Or another person came to me to say, am I going to find the true love of my life? How old are you? You're 18. Do you think basically that at 18 it's a game over for you? Give me a break over here. Are you dating? No. Did you put yourself out there? No. Then you need to have common sense. Or not long ago, somebody came in to ask me, is my son going to have a job? Is he applying for jobs? No. Did he refurbish his resume? No. So how do you expect him to have a job? Common
right.
sense.
Yep, we're ultimately the ones who lead the our lives. So and come and
Exactly.
exactly. So very cool information. Now we have a little bit of time left to do maybe like one small reading. I don't know if you are able to do a reading from someone in the chat or if
We
you
can,
have to
but
do
I
it with
already
me.
had. No, I don't have to have it with them. The way I read is they do not even need to be in the same room or the same vicinity or speaking with them.
If you're
That's the
interested
way
in a
I read.
reading, hit a one in the chat if you're interested in getting a reading right now. Who's interested in getting their cards read right now? Taro, you can pick whoever you'd like in my chat.
I leave it to you to pick one. I'll give them
Okay,
a daily guidance card, which is not a problem. Choose one.
sure. How about, I think that's Andrew. Is that Zamis? I think you changed your name. Is that Andrew?
No, that's Hamos. Hamos is a regular in my stream.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't. I'm on my computer. The picture is really far away. It looked just like my friend's picture. So nope, it wasn't him. So how about Cody? Let's read for. Sorry, Hamus.
So, wait, Cody, could you pick a number between 1 and 78, please? You have the Nine of Swords. If you can listen to the meaning of the card,
Oh,
and
Taro,
then
it
we can
looks like
ask you questions later.
you're frozen. Could you exit the box and
Am I?
re-enter? Yeah, you're frozen
Of
on
course I
our
can.
end. All right, thank you. We'll see if that helps. Thank you guys for being here. This is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. We are talking with Tarot Master about tarot and its impact on mindset, goal achievability, and emotional wellness. He's about to do a short one card reading for Cody in the chat. And let's see, hopefully it works better.
Hopefully, I'm not frozen.
There
So,
you go.
Cody, the card that was pulled for you is the Nine of Swords. You may be feeling apprehensive today about something that has been weighing heavily on your mind. The Nine of Swords is often associated with fear and trepidation, which may or may not be tied to something you've brought about yourself. Either way, you may have to confront your fears or face the music about something that you are not too comfortable with. What not to do. Try not to let your fears get the best of you, especially if you are panicking over something you cannot control. You don't want to make things worse than they already are. Chances are good that things aren't as bad as you are imagining them to be. So don't let your anxieties take on a life of their own. What to do? Remind yourself that things are probably nowhere near as bad as they seem. Take some time to get centered and focus on putting things into proper perspective. You want to work on getting your anxieties under control, and that means facing your fears heads on rather than hiding from them and wishing they just go away. And that's your daily guidance card.
Excellent, Tarot Master. I am on OBS right now, so I don't know if I'm glitching, but for you, you're frozen for me, but I can hear you. I don't know if
Okay.
you guys, is he frozen for you as well? It might just be an OBS glitch. That's why I'm asking you guys.
Bentley is saying that they haven't seen or heard anything. And Cody is
Really?
saying
Because
I'm frozen. And
man,
Sean cannot
really?
see me or hear me.
Oh no. Because I can see your card. You're frozen with the card right in front of the camera, but I hear you.
Okay.
I heard him. Cody heard him. Well, Cody, that was your reading, so it's a good thing you heard him. Well, Taro, thank you so much for being here. Again, you're frozen for me, but maybe everyone can see you. It's the box loading up. That's so weird. What
That's a
would a show
typical
be
problem
without
you
a
have with
glitch?
OBS. Yeah, that's what you usually have with OBS. It's a common known problem. Occasionally it happens.
Oh, and now I see you again. You're unfrozen. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Taro, thank you for being here. Why don't you plug your show once more and anything else you have going on, and make sure you guys please favor Tarot Master.
Well, the show is every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern in the US. It's what's in the cards. If you'd like to take part of the show, hit me with a message on Instagram and we'll see when to fit you in. It's a duration of 75 minutes. We have two guests usually on the show. The first 20 minutes is a Q&A and things that I want to educate people on. And following that is a card reading. I do stream on daily basis around 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern and 4:30 p.m. Eastern also as well for a few hours. And my streams are dedicated streams for card reading. No two streams are the same.
Awesome, Tarot Master. It was a pleasure having you on. Please make sure you guys, if you are early risers, check out his show. It's in the cards. Is that what it's called?
Yep, it's in the
It's in the
cards.
cards. 7 a.m. on Mondays, guys. So make sure you favor Tarot Master. And Tarot, it's been a pleasure. I'll have you exit the box, and Rachel
Thank
can come
you.
back on in here. Thank you so much for being
You
here,
have a
Tarot
pleasant
Master.
evening.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Get some rest. I know it's probably time for you to sleep. All right, Rachel, it showed you there and then it took you away. Guys, this is Better Together with Gabby and Rachel. This is a show we do every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we talk about um, self development, emotional exploration, and healthy living. So make sure you join us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome back, Rachel.
Thanks for letting me join again.
Of course. Do you have any comments about the interview?
Wow, do I have any comments about the interview? Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So honestly, I am really surprised at, he Terra Master had a lot of good things to say, and it sounds like he really was, born into this. So it was really cool to hear that he's a third generation tarot reader. He mentioned the Gnomon, if I'm saying that right. So that was really cool. But I feel like, my interpretation of what tarot does was really similar to, what he actually does as a tarot reader. A couple things are done. Like he said, you write your own story, which was exactly what I was trying to get at from, my psychology and counselor perspective, that this is all up for interpretation. And I loved, I think that, Sigmund Freud, that psychologist I mentioned before, would say that, what Tarot Master referred to as inner wisdom, that you're finding when you're having a tarot reading, is also the unconscious, and that bottom of the iceberg that I was referring to. So I think that was really awesome. And I'm just like, tickled pink a little bit that um, maybe my interpretation wasn't so far off. And as a skeptic, I guess I do ultimately believe in the power of tarot.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Guys, do you have any questions? I meant to ask if you guys had any questions for Tarot Master and I didn't give you the opportunity to. I'm so sorry. I didn't even think about it. If you guys have any questions for Tarot Master, please make sure you have him favorited, join his streams and ask him in the mornings at 7 a.m. on Mondays any questions you have for his Q&A for the show. But in the meantime, do you have any questions for Rachel? No sound. Okay, there's sound because Sean hears me. Okay. Anyone have any questions for Rachel? They can be unrelated to the topic. They can be about anything if you really want to ask her. Ask her the capital of Never mind.
Please don't. I can't guarantee correct answers if it's something random.
How do you feel about being the co-host and being in the box?
I'm so honored to be here. Sean, I was so excited when Gabby asked me to be on this show. So, for all the listeners, I had the opportunity to come on as a guest on In It Together with Gabby and Sammy. So, having the opportunity to co host this has just made me really happy. I've been really nervous about it too. So, the fact that we had this first episode is super awesome. And I feel like a
Absolutely.
giddy little kid in a candy shop. I'm really happy
Heck
to be here.
yeah. I love having you as my co-host. I mean, we love Sammy too, don't get me wrong, but Rachel is awesome. You're gonna grow to love her if you don't already. Um, they love you. Don't even worry about it. All right, guys. Let's take a look here. It's the end of the show. There's only about 11 minutes left. So, in conclusion, tarot is a deck of cards that are picture cards that are used to unlock the unconscious mind to guide you in life. That's the gist of tarot in a nutshell. We took a whole hour to tell you that. But that's basically it. So yeah, that's tarot. We do have it's kind of funny. I end the show every week with a tarot card that's for self-reflection. So this is this week's tarot card after we get through all this. There you go. I thought it was a really good one that went along with this week's topic. So actually, it went really good with your tip, Rachel, which was to write 3 things down that were really good that day. Name
Planned
all the
that.
things you love. Are you one of them? Today's mantra: I give myself all the love and attention I need. So this will be posted on Instagram if you guys have any kind of relation to it or if it really speaks to you, please comment on our Instagram post. I'll also be posting the resource for the show if you guys are interested in visiting it on Instagram. We are at better together underscore meet me. That's what it is. Better together underscore meet me. Sean has it in the chat. Make sure you follow us for exclusive content. And how are we feeling after today's episode, guys? Put an emoji in the chat. Put an emoji in the chat. Tell me how you're feeling. Hopefully, anybody who wasn't feeling super good feels a lot better now. I know you guys are there. Put some emojis in the chat.
Oh, I like the hearts.
Sean's feeling the love. Thank you, by the way, for the gifts. My top gifters for the stream are Hamus, Tarot Master, and Kaser. Shout out to also Sean, Roger, Don Manny Fresh, Beatbox, and Chris from Florida. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. And my comments went away. Navigating the website is different than my phone. There you go. We're good now. All right, guys. So that's the end of this episode. Join us next week. We're going to go over astrology with Space Pinup as our guest. We're going to talk about astrology, its impact on our same things, our mindset, our goal achievability, and our emotional wellness. So thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a great night. Make sure you favorite Rachel, please. So you can visit her when she decides to live stream. She also plays piano like really well. So if you guys want to catch her playing piano, and I think she might have a snake. Do you have a snake?
Gabby, my cat ate my snake.
Oh my God. I'm so
He broke
sorry.
her. I can't make this stuff up. He broke her out of the cage, and like I found the remains. We had a
Oh,
ceremony. She is resting in peace.
I'm so
And I do
sorry.
play piano, but I don't play piano with my snake anymore.
I'm sorry to leave us on a bad note. I'm sorry. That is traumatic. Okay, don't cry. I mean, you can. I mean,
I
it's
still love
healthy to
the
cry.
cat. He's alive and well, but he is an indoor outdoor and he's insane. So
Yikes.
don't look for the
Okay.
snake in my profile. I'm so sorry to make it so negative. But the cat's cute.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, guys, if you want to catch Rachel playing the piano, please favor her. So sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have brought
Way
this
to
up.
bring up that can of worms. Thanks, Gabby. I try to forget that my
Oh no. I'm sorry for smiling. It's just so traumatic and sad, and I don't know what to do.
I've coped with it through humor. I've coped with
Oh,
it.
whew, well, I should have asked you that privately. I didn't know.
So anyway, thank
Anyway,
you all
guys,
for joining us. I had so much fun, like being your co-host for the first time.
it was very fun. And OBS was different for sure. We did have some glitches, but some of you guys heard and saw Tarot Master, so that's great. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you favorite me if you want to come back next week to talk about astrology with Space Pinup. It's going to be a cool episode as well. And yeah, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a wonderful night. Rachel, thank you for being an awesome co host. And I hope you all have a great night and a good rest of your week. Bye.
Y'all.